Our next reader, Thaddeus Logan, is going to bring us a bit of a different side of Baltimore. Thaddeus Logan is a former Baltimore City policeman and vice detective turned cab driver. What an interesting collection of jobs. Logan writes about his fares and the city he serves with great insight and sensitivity. He has a particular affection for his regular customers, the perennial underclass. His vignettes show the city, warts and all, and its people, regardless of neighborhood, income, or prejudices. Hey Cabbie 2 is the sequel to Logan's popular 1984 book, Hey Cabbie. Please welcome Thaddeus Logan.
Good afternoon. Kind of new at this, so bear with me. Okay. Do you want to I would like to thank New Mercury for the opportunity to read today. Once again, I'm Thaddeus Logan. I've been a cab driver approximately 35 years here in the city of Baltimore. I've written, can you hear me okay? Okay. I have written 2 books, Hey Cabbie and Hey Cabbie 2. This book was copyrighted in 1983. The 4th printing came out July the 1st of this year. This book was originally hardback. It was #1 at Pratt Library years ago for 10 straight weeks, and also reviewed down the front of the Wall Street Journal. Thank you. And this is the sequel, Hey Cabbie 2. A lot of people have been asking me over the years about my books, well, about Hey Cabbie. I wanted to bring it back, but I just didn't want to republish it. So I published this book, Hey Cabbie 2, the sequel. This is then, and this is now. My books deal with a slice of life, rich man, poor man, the have and the have-nots, or them against us. It's all about Baltimore, and these are my stories. Okay. Also, I was a policeman in Baltimore City for 10 straight weeks. Also, I was. Anyway. Oh yes. I found that most people's problems were stemming from sex, power, money, drugs, and rock and roll. And rock and roll is the entertainment. It could be going to the Ravens Stadium or going to the local pub or whatever, but it's the relaxation of life. I'm going to read excerpts from 2 books, and Cab drivers are a mixed breed. They include the highly intelligent to the ignorant, those who live well to welfare recipients, high school dropouts to college graduates, sports fanatics and theater buffs, Americans and foreigners, blacks and whites, men and women, homosexuals and heterosexuals, drug dealers and drug users, part-timers and full-timers, and gambling and religious fanatics. Their diversity is phenomenal, but in this industry, they seem to be no secret about their behavior. Many may appear to be dropouts in life, judging from their dress and demeanor, but they're not in reality. Cabbies are not closet people. Most cab drivers are plain people who will let you know where they stand. The reason they wind up in this profession are as diverse as the number of people who drive cabs. Many will say they cannot work for others. Many were laid off or fired from their jobs. Others will simply say that being a cabbie is a means to an end. They have other goals in life. The drivers make their own decisions. Cabbies love the freedom of going where they want to go, picking up who they want, and making their own hours. Whatever the reason, they are basically equal, and their primary objective is to make that buck, make the dollar. Okay. Cab driving makes one become aware of society. If one is perceptive, he sees just about everything for what it's worth. No matter where you go or where you are, people are people. We have the same habits of life. We work and we're rewarded with money. The money we receive is basically used for the essentials of life: food, shelter, and clothing. What little is left over is used for entertainment and incidental living. A handful of people make decisions and will guide us through our lives. The rest of us are just followers. The decision makers have our lives programmed until someone stands up and rebels. What is a secret? A secret is something unexplained or kept hidden from others. It shouldn't be shared unless confidentially with a selected few. Secrets arise from birth, sex, power, jealousy, rivalry, love, hate, death, etc. That's why they're never kept. People share some pretty powerful secrets with the cabbie. Why they do this, God only knows. There's the possible explanation that because they're in the company of a stranger, a one-on-one basis, a stranger who appears to be in charge of their destination for a brief moment of their lives, they feel confident in revealing an important part of life to the cabbie. The cabbie plays many roles out there during the course of a day, but his biggest task is being an amateur psychologist or sociologist to his fares. Hardly a day goes by in a cabbie's career that he's not confronted with his fare's problems. Many are looking for logical solutions from the cabbie's point of view. Some just want to blow off steam and use the cabbie as a lightning rod. After people become relaxed in a cab, many will discuss the frustrations of their lives. Some of their problems are about their jobs, friends, neighbors, etc., and they do not appear to be very serious. However, some problems are a little more deep-rooted concerning family, loved ones, adventures, and close friends. It's just unbelievable the confidence that people will have in a cabbie and the things they're willing to reveal. On a particular day, about 4 p.m., I was sitting in front of the Hilton Hotel at the taxi stand on Fayette Street. Remember, this book is going back 30 years now. It is now the Sheraton Downey. This black guy, about 25 to 30 years of age, asked this white cab driver in front to transport him, and the driver refused. The guy was real dirty and appeared high. He then approached my cab asking me to take him to York Road and Winston Avenue. He then showed me his money. After the guy was seated in the cab, he stated that he had a couple of stops to make. First, he wanted to pick up his friend at Liberty and Fayette Streets, and second, a stereo set that he had just purchased in the 300 block of Liberty Street. His friend jumped in the cab in the middle of Fayette Street, and this guy had in his possession a bucket of chicken and fried potatoes. He offered some to his friend riding up front and to me. I refused, but the friend accepted. While driving up Park Avenue, the guy with the chicken threw a half a pint of vodka on the front seat of the cab. These two dudes were really wild. After they picked up his stereo set, we continued to York Road and Winston Avenue via Calvert Street, seeing City Jail off Falls Way and Madison Street. One of the men told me to hurry up and get him past that place. He said that this was the first time in his life that he had been out of that place longer than a year. Then he revealed that money comes easy and that he spends it as fast as it comes. En route to York Road, he revealed how he obtained money for a stereo and a television that he had purchased earlier. He stated that a chick hipped him to an old man who had just made a $500 withdrawal from a particular bank on York Road. The man had entered some supermarket in the vicinity. The woman had told him that the man had placed the money in an envelope, and he later put the money in the envelope into a food cart. He stated that he approached the food cart, took the envelope, and ran out the store. He revealed that while a police and police helicopter were converging on the scene, he was running in the opposite direction. From the dude's conversation and actions, he had spent everything that he had stolen. He also told me that he gave the chick $150 for hipping him to the money. Then he told me how he would have to hang low for a while. For the life of me, I could not understand why this dude was revealing this escapade. Okay, one fare left the cab at 10 Light Street and another got into the taxi. He told me to take him to Cook's Lane and Edmondson Avenue. While driving, he revealed that he had been drinking and had a half a load on, and that was the reason why he decided to take the taxi home. He also told me that he was a tugboat ship captain and that during World War II, he was assigned to a submarine in the Pacific. I asked if he had ever experienced depth charges and was he ever scared down there. He told me that you're naturally scared of dying, but that they were brainwashed and trained to accept the situation, figure out the best possible solution, don't panic, and attempt to solve the problem. He stated that if your fear was evident to others that this would and cause panic to every individual on the ship. I think what the man was saying was that one of the crew members would kill you if necessary before allowing you or another crew member's fright to panic the entire ship. The man told me that this type of behavior should be practiced to some degree when dealing with whatever crisis that you may be involved in life. He added that many excellent swimmers drown because they panic, get cramps, and go under. I told the man that I understood, revealing that I was once employed as a Baltimore City policeman. At times I was scared, but I tried never to show my fear when involved in a crisis. He said that he was sure that crisis situation had occurred in my taxi, and if I had not maintained calmness, it is quite possible that something dangerous could have happened. Before the man left the cab, his final note was to always try to accept the crisis situation, figure out a solution, and try to the best of your ability to maintain calmness. I thought that this was excellent advice. This couple called to me from a porch in the 2800 block of the Alameda. The couple was about 55 years old. They told me to take them to the Marylander Hotel on Pulaski Highway. While driving, I heard this old fart of a lady state to the man, when I get you to the hotel, I mean motel, that she was going to treat him the way the Lord meant for a woman to treat a man. I felt like turning around and asking, how's that? Then the lady stated that she was hungry and that she wanted some chicken from Gino's on Pulaski Highway. When the lady was in Gino's, the man told me that she was a good old girl and that he had been effing her for years. He then told me that she was his wife's best friend. I said, what? I asked him, did he feel uncomfortable when they were together? He said, hell no. I asked, did his wife know about her? And she said no. I told him that I didn't think that I would be able to handle that. After the couple had departed, I wondered how secrets like that go unnoticed by a spouse. 5, 6, I bidded on a call in the vicinity of Hopkins Hospital and was dispatched to the main entrance. When I arrived at the Wolf Street entrance, a lady with a child about 11 years old approached the taxi with the child in a wheelchair. She asked if I was there for her. My reply was yes. I had to exit the taxi to physically lift the child out of the chair and place her in the taxi. The lady stated that she wanted to be transported to the 500 block of University Parkway. En route to the passenger's destination, I started to observe the child, noticing that she was motionless and that she just existed as a living being in this world. The mother and I became involved in a conversation, and she stated that her child had cerebral palsy. She told me that they were from Sweden, had come to the Johns Hopkins Hospital in America because of its reputation in the field in medicine around the world. Looking at the child in the back seat, she looked so sweet, precious, and innocent. At that precise moment, I started thinking of my daughter, who had been diagnosed as having traces of cerebral palsy in her system. To date, this basically affects her speech only. Her mother and I are still in search for the proper techniques in teaching our child to overcome her speech problem. After observing this child in my taxi, who had also had cerebral palsy, I am really thankful that my child's problem is of a milder nature. My child does have problems with her peers in today's cruel world because of her speech, but believe me, I observed living evidence that her condition could be so much more severe. I am thankful that her problem is mild and that she is functional in life. At times, I know how this lady feels. I know that she is thankful that she has a child, but in reality, I know that she wants to see signs of improvement. The child could not maneuver her main body functions, yet it was rather evident that her mother loved her dearly. Okay. I picked up these two well-dressed ladies at the intersection of Madison Avenue and Lanville Street. They told me to take them to the Ritz nightclub on Light Street. These ladies were between 25 and 30 years old, spoke well, and appeared to be of good stock. They talked about their male peers on the job. One stated how fine so-and-so was and added that she wanted to give him some leg. And then she started squirming in the seat. She told her girlfriend that the only reason she hadn't given him some is because he and somebody were good friends. Then she said, "You know how men can badmouth you." but just looking at him sends chills through my body. She said that if it wasn't for that male friendship shit, that she would definitely give him some, and once again she started squirming in the seat. I turned around, looked at the lady, and gave her a pleasurable smile. I told them in all my years I had never heard ladies reveal their sexual desires about men. I stated that I've always heard men reveal that they wanted to do it to some woman, but I've never heard the opposite gender express their preference so boldly. I continued by stating that most women will remark that they will have to have some feelings and shit for a man, but I've never heard a woman, I never heard a woman stated that she wanted to give a man some on general principles. The lady then stated that many women are out there sitting on bar stools with a case of the hots, looking for a man, just like a man is looking for a woman. My reply was, "Oh, really?" Then why do the majority of them turn men down when they're asked them to dance? Or if they attempt to strike up a conversation? The reply was, "I guess those individual men just don't appeal." The lady pulled out her compact, looked in the mirror, patted her nose, and stated, "Believe me, doll, women are out there for the same reason as men." At the Ritz nightclub, the lady gave me a $1 tip, blew a kiss, and stated, "Good night, Thaddeus." Do I have time? Okay. Oh, okay. One of my regulars called who lives in Upper Roland Park. She always books the cab in advance and requests service to BWI Airport for herself and girlfriends. These ladies use my service regularly, are well up in years, and live what appears to be a real good life. They are extremely independent, and two are widowed. They are serious socialites. They play bridge regularly, belong to book clubs, and exercise at curves. They also travel extensively throughout the year, primarily to New York, Florida, and sometimes to Europe. Once a year, they get together for a reunion with their girlfriend for years who has a cottage in Cape Cod, Massachusetts. They pack a light suitcase and are always ready when called for. It takes no more than a half an hour for pickup from 3 different locations. They talk the normal girl talk and the latest gossip from their circle once comfortable and relaxed in the cab. On this particular day, they were speaking glowingly of one of their girlfriends who has a new friend. The ladies are rather refined in culture. One lady said, "He's tall, handsome, and debonair. He looks good in his clothes, and that gray hair is always styled. Really, he appears to be quite charming. But you know, after talking to him, apparently he seems to be the type that wouldn't have a book or magazine in the house." I laughed to myself, saying, she certainly sized him up. Okay. The cruise ship was in. The dispatcher flashed on the computer screen. The cabs were needed in the Port Covington terminal. Hey, I was right in the area, letting off a fare at Walmart. Here again is the crapshoot, because you don't know these people's destination. Laughingly, it could be the terminal's parking lot. Hey, it happens. But thinking positively, I look towards the brighter side, those traveling further in the state or beyond. The cab was signaled up to the terminal. There I was met by a couple in their 50s who had lots of luggage. The man finally got into the cab after making sure that all his luggage was securely in the trunk. He said that his wife had 3 suitcases, including a hanging travel bag to his one. I just laughed, saying, "That's a woman for you." Their destination was Columbia, Maryland. I said, "All right," saying to myself, I got a decent fare. Okay, how was the cruise? Oh, don't ask. It was our first, and we were treated royally. The service was excellent. It was a 7-day cruise, and we had the ball of our lives. It's what my husband and I needed. We definitely found ourselves after all these years, didn't we, sweetie? Really, that's great, miss. It sounds like a story in itself. But you know, on the serious side, you never know what's around the corner. There was this couple aboard. The husband had a heart attack while visiting one of the islands. An ambulance transported him to the island's hospital. The hospital was found to be inadequate, so the wife inquired about airlifting him to Miami for treatment. At this point, they found their medical insurance coverage was of no use outside the United States. Cash or credit card was needed to cover all medical expenses. She said that was heavy, real heavy, and affectionately kissed her man on the cheek. We didn't have the health insurance offered when booking the cruise, but you can bet your sweet ass after experience this, we will. Another 2, 3, 1 more. Okay, cab 1914 was dispatched to meet an MTA bus operator at North and Harford Road. All passengers had gotten off the bus upon my arrival. Some were peeking through the window, which aroused my curiosity. The bus driver was approaching and asked, "What's going on?" That elderly lady became nervous and extremely upset after missing her transfer stop and demanded a cab. The bus driver asked, "Will you take her home? Only if she's no trouble," referring to wanting no confusion, and can she pay the fare? Unfortunately, these questions need asking after having been stuck with fares before, or passengers before. Anyway, the lady was seated peacefully midway on the bus. She appeared to be in her 80s, about 5 feet tall, and possibly weighing 100 pounds. Her appearance was neat, wearing a long black coat, purse, and had 2 well-used shopping bags, one inside the other with groceries. She was helped out of the seat, caught her balance, and said, "Thank you, Jesus," went off the bus. "Please be careful with my bags, driver." They had a weathered look and appeared to be about 10 years old. At this point, the bus driver gave me the lady's address. The driver said thank you, as her passengers were reboarding the bus. The elderly lady attempted to give directions and was told that the bus driver had given me her home address. She said abruptly, "Excuse me, but I'm talking." I said, "Yes, ma'am," being sorry to interrupt her. Her vision was poor as she tried focusing on landmarks en route to the house, never realizing where she was until on her street and block in East Baltimore, then mumbling that those people were giving her no respect at all on the bus. "How much, driver?" My reply was $6.40. Honestly, I never knew if the lady had the money or not. She fumbled around in her purse for a good while, then searched her pocket, finding 4 $1 bills. "How much did you say it was?" The fare was repeated as she continued her search for more money, finding a folded $5 bill. "You were extremely nice and patient with me. Thank you, sir. The change is your tip." She was assisted to her front door with pleasure. Getting old and old age is a real problem. I have one more, sir. My eye caught the attention of this lovely, light-skinned African-American lady about 5'8", around 40 years old. The chick was wearing a white linen skirt and blouse and had shoulder-length blown hair. Her outfit was accented with a stylish handbag, matching shoes, and sporting fashionable sunglasses. She was standing curbside in front of the gallery and flagged when the traffic light changed at the intersection of Pratt and Calvin Street. "My, you look nice." "Thank you, sir." "Take me to Penn Station, please." While en route, we became engaged in conversation. She was from the Bahamas and had met someone who was on vacation there. They talked, and eventually he wired her travel expenses to Baltimore. This was her first time to the Mid-Atlantic region. She was going home and wanted to see Washington, D.C. She asked, "Are you familiar with Washington?" "Yes, I once had a tour guide business in Baltimore City schools. Occasionally, my servers were called upon for trips to D.C. They studied the federal government in the 5th grade. "Really?" she said. "That's great. I guess that you know the district rather well." "I'm okay," with a smile. "So where's the friend?" "Oh, he's working." "That's unfortunate. You're bound to attract someone's attention, as lovely as you look, venturing around Washington, D.C. all alone." "Well, I certainly wanted him to come along, but he just couldn't." "Will you be comfortable?" "Yes, I'm okay," she said with confidence. At this point, we were traveling north on Calvert Street, crossing Mount Royal, thinking to myself, just go for it. We introduced ourselves. Her name was Adrana. I asked her, "What's your take if I accompany you to D.C. as your guide, pointing out the main attractions?" We had been having a great conversation. Then she said, "Sure, why not? And thank you, at least I won't be alone." Hey, it's becoming interesting. And if you want to read the books, my books in the back, my books in the back. Thank you very much. Okay.